Welcome back to Alberta Primetime and our Monday Lifestyle Panel. And we turn now to a recently released report by the University of Alberta's School of Public Health, which suggests youth are not doing well maintaining nutritious, healthy diets. The report graded more than 14 measures ranging from school vending machine contents to the marketing of unhealthy food to children. And on average, the province scored a C. Judy, the report also puts forward several recommendations, including junk food taxes, banning toys and kids' meals. What do you make of those suggestions?
Well, I think those suggestions are good, but it doesn't really address the root of the problem, and that we all know what healthy food is. We don't need to be made guiltier, but the big problem is time. If parents don't have time to serve fruits and vegetables or learn ways to cook lentils, they're just going to run out and get the cheeseburgers, especially when their kids have activities right during the supper hour. So a little more education, I think, in teaching parents how to cook healthy, and more education in the school systems, like mandatory cooking classes to teach kids how to cook healthy.
Peter, key issues for you?
Well, I think the key issues would be that, as you know, nutrition matters a lot to me as a practicing pediatrician, and wellness and prevention and stuff like that. I couldn't agree more to get kids to have more skin in the game. I would even encourage teachers to consider teaching kids how to grow their own vegetables in the school. There are all kinds of newer technologies that allow us to do that, things like tower gardens. In the Bronx, in New York City, a teacher did exactly that, called the Bronx Green Machine, and very, very great success in poverty. You know, like people talk about the lack of money, lack of time, but that teacher in the Bronx taught us, no, that doesn't have to keep you back. And the kids get better grades, they study harder, they have skin in the game, and they're very proud to produce and work together. The other thing that I just want to put a quick plug in for is that in the province of Quebec, they have a regulation, a rule, or a setup where marketers cannot market to kids on children's TV, and I'd like to see something like that across the country, not just in Quebec, because children are very vulnerable to marketing, especially some companies that produce toys with the fast food too. It's not a very good idea.
Wendy, how much of this should fall on the shoulders of parents, and at what point should government step in?
I think it does. It falls on the shoulders of the parents, absolutely. It's our responsibility to raise and guide our children and model great behaviors. And I think the government, you know, obviously it comes down to our healthcare and the impacts that it has on the healthcare system when we aren't healthy and our children aren't healthy. So I think, you know, the healthy food marketing that's out there is very strong, I think, and it's valuable. I love seeing it. And education, I agree with Judy and Peter, definitely. The education piece of bringing it down to grassroots, into the classrooms, but giving the parents the tools as well is so important, because if they learn it in the classroom and they go home and craft dinner and hot dogs are the only option, that's what they're eating.
All right, our last topic for this week's Lifestyle Panel, and it's bullying from the sidelines.
You fell down! Defense! Come on! You guys know anything about defense?
At issue is the heckling of players and name-calling of refs, all from the sidelines as parents take cheerleading too far. Back in 2012, Hockey Alberta implemented a mandatory behavior course for all parents and team officials, but according to the Hockey Alberta Referee Council, things are not improving, with many young refs quitting as a result of bullying and nasty behavior from parents. Who needs to take the lead here, Wendy?
Parents do.
It's back to the parents again.
Yeah, I keep putting it on the parents. I'm sorry, everyone.
So it's the parents' responsibility to rein in these unruly...
So when I was reading about this, here's what my thought is. And as a parent, a hockey parent and soccer parent and baseball parent, I've seen, you know, everything that's out there in the stands. And it's sad and it's frustrating and maddening. And a 13-year-old referee cannot be held accountable and responsible to rein in an out-of-control adult, is how I feel. And as an adult sitting in the stands with someone else who's an adult, I do feel a responsibility to step in.
So you need to police.
So as parents, you know, within that team, and especially if it's on my own team, if a parent from our own team is doing something that is completely out of line, I think as a team of parents, we need to address that behavior, and in a respectful, polite way, and then maybe it needs to be a more serious discussion. But I do think that it's the adults within the arenas that need to take the lead when adults are out of control.
Peter, is it time for stricter penalties?
Well, yeah, I absolutely think so. I mean, I couldn't agree more with Wendy. It's sad to think that a teenage Rafe who being shouted at and told, Rafe, get a new pair of glasses and things like that. You know, it's very insulting. I just shared something, well, before we came on the air, about at my my son's own hockey tournament this weekend. I saw a very good sign. It said, coaches coach, parents cheer, and children play, players play. And I think it's just a great reminder, really, that we need to respect each other and have fun. It's become too intense. I mean, you know, it really does, I think, is a bit over the top. And being a South African-born person now in Canada for 30 years, I can't say I'm impressed when in the NHL people take off their gloves and helmets and start to box each other. I just don't see that in rugby, soccer, and other sports. It's unique to the NHL. I think it's time to stop fighting in the NHL. It's a bad role model.
Well, and Judy, how do we penalize unruly parents without impacting the children?
Well, I disagree with Wendy in that you can't expect parents to confront other parents. I mean, as a parent, I wouldn't. Otherwise, I'd be scared I'd meet the other parent out by my car. So I think education is good to let everyone know what the behavior is up front. Everyone knows the expectations, but there should be somebody else there to police and enforce it. And it should be a one strike and you're out. So don't penalize the child, let the child play, but ban the parents from the arena and let the child bring another adult.
All right, as always, lots to digest. Thank you kindly, folks. Wendy Mueller, publisher of several parenting magazines, including Edmonton's Child. Dr. Peter NIEMAN is a pediatrician and author, and Judy Arnall, certified parent, educator, and best-selling author of Discipline Without Distress.